Snowfall, Season 2, Episode 10, the finale. Great episode. Great episode. Absolutely loved it. It told a story. It showed the character of Franklin. It focused on Franklin. It told a complete character arc of Franklin while he was in prison. Very compelling moments. Very compelling moments throughout this season finale. A great way to end an otherwise lackluster season. For those who do not know, I am the Black Guru. What I offer is sage wisdom. What's up, Smiley? This was a good episode. I won't lie. This was a good episode. And it was a great end to a lackluster season. I'm sorry. This season was lackluster. Even though this finale was great, there were moments in tonight's episode in which I wished that Franklin would stay in jail longer. And I'll talk about this more in a moment. However, there were moments where I wished Franklin would have stayed his ass in jail a bit longer. I wish he would have stayed in jail for the entirety of season 3, honestly. Because I've heard recently that Snowfall has been renewed for season 3. And I wish he would have stayed in jail. Because there was a lot of interesting drama that can be had in the jail. But that's not what we got. And I'll talk about it. I'm going to review this episode. And then I'm going to review season 2. So it's going to be kind of a combo deal I'm doing on tonight. Because I'm going to review tonight's episode. And then I'm going to talk about the season 2 overall. And because I want to separate the two. I want to make a clear distinction between the two. Tonight's episode was good. Borderline great for this series. However, it's a great episode to what was otherwise a lackluster season, in all honesty. Let's get right into it. So we start off with Franklin locked up. Got locked up, they won't let me out, no. They won't let me in, and I got locked up, they won't let me out. That's what I'll be singing if I got locked up. They're gonna be like, look at this dude, why is he singing? Why is he walking around the jailhouse singing? Then I get locked up, they won't let me out. Oh, they're like, if this big motherfucker don't stop singing. Anyway, so we get nuts to butts, and I was really, this was a really great opening, just kind of showing the harsh realities of jail. Nuts to butt on the bench. You're not supposed to do that. They kind of influencing people to be gay, I guess, is what we get from this scene. And it's just kind of showing you that jail is no place for a man. You need to stay out of jail at all costs. Jail is no place for a man. So they tell you to bend over and cough to make sure you ain't hiding nothing up your ass, So Franklin gets his first call and he calls his uncle. And Unc's like, we're going to try to take care of things. We're going to make sure everything's all right. We're going to try to help you out. I really love this jailhouse stuff from Franklin. I really do. Then we get introduced to this lawyer character. Kind of a shady looking guy. Didn't play too big of a role on tonight's episode, but we get introduced to him. He says, Franklin, hey, we're going to get you your bond. We're going to get you out, give you 48 hours. Now, here's the interesting element of tonight's episode. Did I miss something? How did he get caught? He went to jail on last week on murder charges. And he didn't call Saul. He would have been better calling Saul. Saul would have got him out, for sure. We have an interesting part of this episode here where Teddy makes a proposition to the DEA agent. He tells her that basically, if she kind of ignores him, if she gets off his back, if she kind of goes along with the program, They're going to keep selling drugs and guns to the Nicaraguans. And after they're done, after about 2 years or so, he's going to, he being Teddy, is going to hand over all of the drug dealers and cartel members to the DEA so they can make a ton of drug bust. And she contemplates that idea for a little while. It's a bit of an offer. That way Teddy can kind of keep going back to doing what he's doing. And then we go back to the prison, in which Franklin's rocking a fresh new pair of Adidas. A fresh new pair of shell-toe Adidas. And the Mexicans, you know, they wasn't having it. The Mexicans wasn't having it. And let me just get through this. I want to make a note here. I'll make this note. It would be better if these Mexicans were not random characters that we've never seen before, but actually connected to Lucia and the Mexicans that we've seen throughout this season so far. We got zero Lucia on tonight. We got absolute zero Lucia. Like I said on last week's review, Lucia, she might as well be dead at this point, because the entire Mexican storyline needs to be retconned at this point. So we got absolutely no Lucia on tonight, and it was what it was. But if you're gonna send Franklin to jail, if he's gonna spend time in jail, if he's gonna have encounters with Mexicans, I believe it's wise to make them characters that we've already seen before. That way we can connect this story just a little bit better, just to keep things a little tighter, instead of introducing 3 brand new Mexican thugs that are essentially meaningless. But he gets his shell toes jacked from him, you know. And then he goes into the courtroom, and then he doesn't get any bail. And when he doesn't get bail, I was shocked. My jaw dropped. I said, ooh, shit, it's about to go down. It's going to be some smoke in the city. I thought it was going down. I was actually excited, because I'm like, okay, now we got something here. We got Franklin in jail on a murder charge with no bail. How the hell is he going to get out of this? I absolutely loved it, because I'm like, whoa, okay, here we go. We're off to the races now. This is what I suspected. So then we get an appearance from old Dub C. Shout out to Dub C. In which Dub C was chopping it up, and he went on this whole yes a massa thing. You know, it was a cool little couple lines from Dub C. When I seen Dub C, I was like, oh shit, this shit really about to get good. Ah shit, Franklin about to be in jail. He hooking up with Dub C. It's about to be some street shit going on. I was excited when I seen all of this. I really was. I said, okay, Snowfall may be picking itself off of the ground. It may be picking itself up. We may be about to get into a little bit of Orange is the New Black-ish, no pun intended, Orange is the New Black-ish style storytelling in season 3 to retcon some of all this season 2 bullshit. But that's not exactly what happens, but it was still good. Franklin sitting up in his cell, and he looks over and he sees old Ray Ray. The dude he made slashes on homeboy's throat. And Ray Ray pulls up on him and he's like, yeah, bro, we gotta stay together, bro. We gotta stay together. And, you know, they talked for a little bit, and they thought they was cool. They thought they was cool for a second, but they end up rolling up on him that night and whooping his ass. They rolled up on him and whooped his ass. They rolled up on him and pretty much kicked his ass. And let him know that, hey, we not cool. I haven't forgotten what you made me do. So now Franklin's pretty much laying there, no shoes, like a bitch, got his ass whooped, and he's sitting up crying. And the whole time I see him sitting down crying during this scene, I'm basically yelling, stop being a bitch. I'm yelling this at the fucking screen. Please, Franklin, stop being a fucking bitch. Don't cry. Stop being a bitch. Man up. So Ankh and Leon roll up on him, and I think this is some of tonight's best stuff. This is some of this season finale's best stuff. Franklin talks with his uncle. His uncle kind of gives him a roundabout breakdown of what's going on the outside. Also, his uncle tells him that who did this to you. Franklin says Ray Ray did it. And he's like, tell Ray Ray we know his whole family. And I know where he stay. And we'll kill his whole family on some 10 Commandment Pharaoh shit. Which I laughed out loud when he said that. I found that to be funny. Franklin's uncle is always bringing the juice with the comedy. And then we get Leon, which is, I think this is tonight's best part. When Leon's giving his passionate plea for Franklin to man up. He tells him, man up. Let him know who the fuck you are. He said, I've been in that position you were in. I need a best friend like this one. Facts. He said, I've been in that position where you are. I've been in that shit. Man the fuck up. He said, the first person you see, you go in there and you knock their ass out. You whoop their ass. And man the fuck up. And that was so intense. And I was ready to fight. I was at home like, yeah, I'm about to fuck somebody up. I was looking around. I'm about to fuck somebody up. I was ready to go. So he hyped me up. I was ready to box. So Leon could be a nice little coach in the NFL. With that speech, he was on some Mike Tomlin Pittsburgh Steelers rally the troops type of shit tonight. Absolutely loved it. So initially when he walked back in, he see Ray Ray ass. And I thought he was going to fuck up Ray Ray right then and there. But he didn't. He walked past Ray Ray and he laid back. So it was a bit of a misdirection. I loved it though. Because you thought he was going to fuck up Ray Ray, but he didn't. So now he's laying there and Ray Ray's creeping on him. And Ray Ray look like he about to creep on him again. So it seems in Ray Ray's mind, they're going to whoop his ass every night. They're going to make his life a living hell. And Franklin sees this coming. He doesn't know what to do. He's nervous. He's, bracing himself for another ass whooping. And lo and behold, this dude hangs himself. Which, this is the type of Snowfall that I enjoy. This gritty, stark reality. People hanging themselves. You got this fucking raping and shit. This is the type of Snowfall that I expect. John Singleton directed and I believe he wrote this episode. That's where we're getting all this gritty, stark reality elements from. So I'm happy that John Singleton spent time, and I see where he's coming from. You can see when his fingerprints are on the episode. You can see where his fingerprints are on the episode, and this scene here it reeks of John Singleton. And I absolutely loved it. I enjoyed it. So another intense scene on tonight. Another intense scene is Franklin. He was chilling and so happy to see his mom and happy to see I don't know if he was happy to see his dad. Definitely happy to see his mom. And she starts cracking up. She starts breaking down. She can't see it. And he's like, man, get her the fuck out of here if she can't hold it together. I don't need this right now. This shit's making it worse. I don't want to see my mom fucking crying and shit. And I'm already down in the dumps. So his dad's trying to give a bit of a pep talk on some, you need to look inside yourself and look inside and see yourself as your best you can be. And that shit pissed Franklin off. He couldn't take that. He said, you want to wait till now to be a fucking dad? Now you want to be a dad? Yeah, you picked a great fucking time. Which I understood Franklin's point on that. He had a great point. Yeah, Pop does trigger him. His pop triggered the fuck out of him. So Franklin goes back and he's pissed. He's irate now. He's absolutely lost it at this point. He's lost his mind. Mama's crying. Baby, no, don't hurt my baby. Don't hurt my baby, no. Don't hurt my baby. Don't hurt him. So Mom Dukes is crying. Franklin's lost his shit. He walks back in. He whoops that Mexican's ass and takes his shoes back. So now he's got his nuts back. Now he's got his courage back. Now we seen him crying. We seen him down in the dumps. Leon gave him the pep talk. And now he's starting to climb back up that confidence ladder. Did you know that Franklin is actually from someplace in England? It's a fake accent. Yeah, I knew that, Lucy. So, Franklin's climbing up that confidence ladder. He's done taking shit from everybody. The Franklin Saint that we know and loved is coming back to form. So then he rolls up on Ray Ray and he lets Ray Ray know, hey, I know your whole family. Your little sister, your mom, your grandma. I know y'all where y'all stay at. Put your fucking hands on me again, and I'm gonna kill your whole family. And you know I mean business. You know I mean business. Absolutely love that. Oh, I love that. So now Franklin's back on top. He's the guy we all know. Big time guy, Franklin Saint, the hustler, the dope dealer, the gritty guy who shot his own best friend. Right? So now, let me get through this. So now we get Teddy rolling up on Aunt, and Aunt Louie gives him a very passionate speech. And lets him know, hey, you got to help Franklin get out. Teddy wasn't necessarily on board for this, but she said, hey, you got some connects. He thinks something of you. You got to help him get out. You got to help him get out. And Teddy's like, I'll see what I can do. He didn't say that, but that was how we left this scene, with him suggesting that he'll see what he can do. So he has a talk with the DEA agent who's the lone witness for the murder. He speaks with her and he asks her to recant her statement. And she's like, hey, I can go to jail. I can face charges for this. I can't just recant my statement. He's like, oh no, you'll be fine and everything will be okay. Just kind of recant your statement and, So apparently she does so. And Franklin gets out of jail. So Franklin's out. He goes by Kevin's grave to take a look at his grave site. And then we end the episode with Franklin putting the pieces together, figuring out Teddy's role and how Teddy is operating with the Nicaraguans and Abi's role in all of this. And he's starting to see how everybody's moving right now. And he's starting to put together the big picture. And this is how we end tonight's episode. Like I said, tonight's episode was great. I'll give it a 8 on its own merit. I'll give it an 8. I think that the character arc for Franklin while he was in prison was excellent. I think it was laid out. It was conveyed very well. It was shot very well. It was gritty. It was believable. It was intriguing. It was intense. I absolutely loved it. I give this finale an 8. I give this season a fucking F. This was a fucked up ass season. I'm letting y'all know now. I'm sorry. I know you guys are fans of the show. I know you guys absolutely loved this show. I give this season a fucking F. I have to flunk this season. I really do. I can't pass this season at all. I can't pass this season at all. I give this season a fucking F. Tonight's episode was a B. That's why I said I want to separate these two. I told y'all earlier. I want to separate the two. I want to separate my episode review from my season review. I give this episode a B. I give this fucking season an F. I'm sorry. And namely because, let's just look at tonight's episode. Look how easy it was for Franklin to get out of jail. Look how easy that was. The lone witness, can you recant your statement? Oh, sure. Why not? Why not? Yeah, Coco, I gotta give it an F, dear. I gotta give it an F. It was the reason I gotta give it an F. Let me be clear. The way that Snowfall resolves its storylines is too simplistic. It's either entirely too simplistic, implausible, or it's a straight up Deus Ex Machina, God of the Machine. They essentially rip the rug from under you, and that's the major problem. We did that entirely too much this season. And the snitching. We started off this season with a ton of snitching. Or we didn't start off with snitching. Well, we literally did start off with snitching, but we resolve too many storylines with snitching. So, for example, Pedro decided to work with the DEA to get back at his sister as a snitch. Avi goes to jail in, I believe, episode 2 or 3. He gets out because he snitches. Teddy goes to the CIA once he's in a jam, suggests that he's going to snitch on the entire DEA, and then he agrees to snitch on all of the people he's working with. He reiterated that on tonight by saying, I'll turn all of these people over to you once I get done doing what I'm doing. So he can't be trusted. Okay. Lucia, when Lucia was back in the jam, she decided to snitch on Franklin and also decided to snitch on Teddy. So with all of this tattletelling and snitching, my problem is not the actual act of snitching. My problem is this is how we're resolving the storylines. So when our characters get into these jams, all they're doing is saying, "Oh, well, I'll tell if you let me go. I'll tell. If you let me go, I'll tell." Yeah, we got no Matt on tonight. We don't know what happened to Matt. We don't know what happened to the dog. We got no Lucia. So all of these storylines, all of this Lucia shit we watched all season, it culminated to nothing. It built to nothing. All of this Matt shit built to nothing. Why did Teddy have a gun when he was waiting on the agent? I have no idea. Maybe he thought he was going to be arrested. I don't know. I wanted to ask you something about power, but I'll wait towards the end. Okay. But this is ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. And the problem with the snitching, like I said, I don't have a problem with the act of a character snitching. So let me make this clear. I don't have a problem with what Pedro did. See, when Pedro snitched and went to the DEA, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, I was okay with that. Because that's kind of a storyline. Is he in on it? Is he not? Maybe he felt desperate. I understand that. Okay, so I don't have a problem with snitching in general. What I do have a problem with is characters, hardened criminals, resolving their plot lines with snitching. I find it to be very, very lazy. I also find the way Franklin got out of jail tonight entirely too simple. He's in for a 187 for a murder charge in which a federal agent witnessed the murder. Teddy, well, Aunt Louie talks to Teddy. Teddy talks to the DEA agent, and all of a sudden he's out. There's no pushback from the state. There's no grand case that they're trying to put on. There's just nothing. And we don't even actually get to see her recant the statement. We just see the lawyer grinning like, it worked. And now he's out. We see him walking in the graveyard. This is the type of stuff I'm talking about when it comes to Snowfall. A lot of people are suggesting that Snowfall is the best show on TV. It's the best show on TV. And honestly, you guys, if it's your favorite show, I understand. If you love this show with all your heart, I understand. But to call it the best show on TV, it's not delivering on that level. It's just not. It's just not. And I'm being perfectly honest. DA agent was no longer part of that investigation. It's just, like I said, they do not reward the viewers for paying attention. They do not reward the viewers for paying attention. All of these characters, we spent all of this season with Matt. We get no Matt on tonight. We spent this entire season with Matt. We get no Matt. We get Lucille, who was essentially the deuteragonist. She was essentially the second main character of the show. We get nothing from her tonight. And not only that, we get Teddy, whose storyline was completely botched as far as I'm concerned throughout this entire season. There was so much missed opportunity with Teddy's character building, such as the situation with his wife, such as his current status in the CIA, which, remember, he agreed to take a reduced status in the CIA. So he doesn't have the protection he once had. He agreed to take a reduced status in the CIA. So as a CIA operative who's operating, he's on shaky ground with the CIA as it is. Okay? We don't get all of that. So it's just unfulfilled potential all over the place. It's unfulfilled potential. Snowfall to me is like when you take a kid, like a 8 or 9 year old kid, to you take them out to eat, or you buy some chicken wings, some wing stop for an 8 year old, and they only eat a little bit of every wing, and you look in the wings and there's so much meat on the bone. Has anybody ever seen this? Like an 8 year old kid, you'll take them to go get some wings, and they'll just eat like a little bit of every wing. And you're like, there's more meat on the bone. Finish the meal. And they're like, oh no, I'm full. They ate all the fries and shit, but it's still meat on the bone. And that's Snowfall. There's so much meat on the bone that I can't suggest that this is some of the best stuff on TV. LA, let me say this, LA was infused in that time period in the 80s. LA was infused, enthralled in gang culture. It was infused with gang culture, Bloods and Crips. Franklin just went to jail. Okay? So you telling me while he was in jail, he didn't make friends or enemies with Bloods or Crips? At some point, you're going to have to introduce this into the story. And let me make an even bigger picture point before I get out of here. Let me make an even bigger picture point. Where does the story even go from here? Where does Snowfall even go from here? Franklin's out. He's selling dope. The DEA knows about him selling dope. Teddy knows. Franklin knows. How do you antagonize this story? How do you he's already been to jail. He gets out on a DEA recant statement. What could happen to Franklin that can create drama at this point? What can happen with these characters that could create compelling episodic week to week drama? He's already made a bunch of money. He's already met with big banks. He bought his mom the house. What could happen at this point? What is Franklin's ultimate goal at this point? They would have been better rebooting in New Orleans, or they would have been better keeping Franklin in jail. They would have been better keeping Franklin in jail for a while. Let him sit in jail, reboot or retcon season 2, and build up to where when Franklin gets out, there's a mission, there's a goal, there's a focus, there's clear people who are against Franklin, clear people who are for Franklin, and Franklin has a clear destination in which he wants to go. They could expand to other areas. We can see Baton Rouge and see Miami. See Baton Rouge and Miami do what exactly? I thought he was going to stay in jail and grow his squad. I thought he was going to stay in jail too. GG. I thought he was going to stay in jail for a while. He needed to stay in jail. Storyline wise, he needed to stay in jail at least for the first 4 to 5 episodes of season 5. Season 3. They need Uncle to turn on Franklin, I think. Maybe that's something. Maybe Unc turns it. But at that point, I would consider that jumping the shark. If you turn Uncle against Franklin, you're desperate for story. You're desperate for story. That's like turning Louis still needs the club. But Coco, she needs the club to do what? Why does she need the club? Ray gonna definitely play a part in season 3. Coco, what is Louis need the club for? Exactly. Do they need to wash the money through the club? Do they need to have the club so that way they can have a base of operations? What is the significance? And I asked that question. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm asking that question because what's the main goal of the show at this point? What's the main theme? What is the theme of Snowfall? What theme are they exploring? So when people say that Snowfall is the best show on TV, a good show has a theme that exploring. The characters, the narrative is exploring a theme. Snowfall is not exploring a very particular theme. So for example, let's just work through this. For example, when at the very end of the episode, when Franklin is figuring out what's going on with Teddy. Let me explain. When Franklin's sitting here figuring out what's going on with Teddy, and he's all like, the Nicaraguans is in a war, and he must be CIA. He's the government, and he's helping them out, and this all is a big game that's going on. Now, instead of doing this in a moment at the end of the finale, that whole package of information can be unveiled in a dramatized fashion. So instead of him reading newspapers for some odd reason, now we do not know why he's reading all of these newspapers. He has not suspected this. You understand what I'm saying? He hasn't suspected this for episodes now, and he's finally realizing. For some reason, he's just reading newspapers, getting caught up on world events, and figuring his place in all of this. Out of the blue. Literally, this is out of the blue. Now, what I'm saying is the realization that he had at the end of this episode could have been laid out in more dramatic fashion, to where the revelation of what's going on with Teddy could have been delivered in a cinematic, dramatic climax. Are y'all following me, or am I hating? See, that's what people gonna say. I'm gonna post this video to YouTube, and everybody's gonna call me a hater. Everybody's gonna say the Black Guru is hating. I don't get it. I don't. Come on. I already know. I already know what people gonna say. So whatever. For those who do not know, I am the Black Guru. What I offer is sage wisdom. Follow the Black Guru if you don't already, and keep those hearts flying. I already know what people's going to say. I'm not hating. I'm saying that there's meat on the bone. And it's frustrating to see such a show that has a lot of potential leave so much meat on the bone. The universe is established. The characters are established within the universe. The connections to one another are established. But Snowfall in season 3, and I don't know if I'm watching season 3. As a matter of fact, I'm not watching season 3. I can tell you that now. I'm not watching season 3 of Snowfall. Unless something dramatic takes place. I can tell you that now. Because if Snowfall's not going to work a theme, then what are we watching? Are we watching Franklin's coming of age? Are we watching the coming of age of Franklin Saint? Are we working through the idea of government corruption and how the government can be corrupt while they're trying to be good, but they can actually corrupt and taint an entire community in their pursuit for power? Is that the nature of the story? Did you like season 1 or season 2 better? I like season 1 a lot better. I like season 1 a lot better. And I like the first few episodes of this season. Because if we're exploring the theme of the corrupt government and to what extent the government will go to flex its power, then Teddy's character needed to be more well built. We needed to know more about the people at the CIA. We needed to know more about his relationship with his wife, more about James, the guy who was looking out for him, but the reason why he was kicked off of the CIA. We needed all of that story. We needed that if we're going to tell the story about a corrupt government going as far as it can to pursue its goals. Oh my goodness, you guys, and I know, I know, Black Guru, you just hating. You's a hater, Black Guru. You don't get it. It ain't about that. This is the best show on TV. I know what y'all gonna say in them comments on YouTube. I ain't even gonna read them comments. I'm just saying, y'all. This is as honest as I can be. But the problem with Teddy's whole deal just seems like a rogue mission. Y'all visit shopguruhats.com to pick up the latest Black Guru hats. Follow the Black Guru on Instagram, the Black Guru on Instagram. Follow the Black Guru on YouTube. I'm gonna post this video on YouTube. You can go back and watch my whole season worth of reviews. We got Insecure on Sunday. Better Call Saul on Monday or Tuesday. I'm out. Thanks. Check out mine. It's good so far. Okay, so apparently Angela is alive. What are your thoughts? Let's see. Let's see in which manner Angela is alive. If she's alive and kicking, I'm gonna have a problem with that. Even if she's in a coma, if she got shot dead in the chest, I can't. I can't with power with that shit. So yeah, y'all, I'm not hating, and I know y'all want a more better review. I know it's your favorite show. Like I said, I did like tonight's episode. I absolutely loved tonight's episode. I thought it was one of the better episodes of the season, if not the best. What are your thoughts on Power overall? Coco, I do a whole Power review. I like Power. I actually love Power. I think Power it's a very complex story that ends up being convoluted at times. And it's starting to get more convoluted than complex because they haven't introduced their nuclear weapon, which is Tariq St. Patrick. The story has to focus more on Tariq St. Patrick's coming of age into the dope game and how Tasha, Ghost, and the others relate to that. There's no more Angela, Tasha, who's going to jail, who's going to get out, who traded on who. Power's got to kick all that shit to the side. That's no longer compelling. What's compelling is Tariq St. Patrick's interest into the drug life. Like I said, I give the episode a B, but I give this season an F.